So I hope everybody is well today. We're just going to start by sitting onto a cushion or blanket or towel, resting the hands down onto the thighs. It's just an easy cross-leg position here. Hands down onto the thighs, just relaxing the shoulders down, lifting up through the crown of the head, and just trying to find your center while you're sitting. So if we just take a moment to try and find that, we are going to lean forward a little bit here, so you're kind of in front of your center, and then come all the way back up into center, and then move back behind. Good. And then come all the way back into the center of those 2 points. Good. Lift up through the crown of the head. Gently draw the low belly in. Good. Breath is still easy. I'm going to close the eyes. So you're just using the drawing in of the lower belly to support the spine as you sit. So as you breathe in and out through the nose, you'll feel the ribs expand rather than pushing into the belly and allowing the belly to expand. We're breathing in and expanding the front and the side of the back of the ribs. And you're moving or breathing at your own pace, your own rhythm. And we start to focus the mind a little bit. So just gently bring our attention to the breath as it comes into the body and then as it leaves. And every time you feel like or find the mind wandering away, just gently coaxing it back to the in and out of the breath. Keep lifting up through the crown of the head. The face is relaxed, shoulders are relaxed. Good. And then just letting that low belly go. And you can allow the breath just to fill the belly a few times here as you breathe in. Inhaling now, we're going to nod the chin towards the chest. Exhaling, lift the chin. Inhaling, tilting it very gently up towards the ceiling. And then exhaling back to center. Inhale, nod the chin towards the left. Exhaling back to center. Inhale towards the right. And then exhaling back to center. And again, inhale, nod the chin gently towards the chest. You're opening up the back of the neck. Inhaling very gently up towards the ceiling, opening the throat. Exhaling back to center. Inhale, looking over that right shoulder. Inhale, back to center. Exhale. Inhale, chin to the opposite side. And then exhaling, back to center. And just gently flicking open the eyes. Lovely. We're going to reach the left fingertips now up towards the ceiling. So reaching, reaching, reaching. And then that right hand is going to come to the outside of that right hip and you're going to reach all the way over. So draw that right shoulder down. And keep that left arm away from the ears. And then you're just pressing down into that left hip. Good. Keep reaching through those left fingertips. One more breath here. Lovely. And then coming all the way back up to center. And then same on that other side. So you're reaching those right fingertips up towards the ceiling. And we're reaching across. The left shoulder comes down. You're pressing down into that right hip. Good. One more breath here. And then coming all the way back up and that arm comes down. Lovely. And then we're just going to interlace the fingers, press the palms out. Let's just drop the shoulders down here before we do anything and get ourselves centered again, because the tendency can be to pull forward as your arms go forward. So draw yourself right back into your center and then very slowly just bringing those arms up and just noticing what happens. Maybe the head starts to come forward, then just leave the arms where they are or take a little bend into the arms and bring them up. If you feel like the ribs kind of shoot out a little bit, then just come back a bit with those arms. Just opening the shoulders. This can be quite intense. First thing. Another breath or two here. And then bringing the arms back down in front. Good. You're going to just turn the wrists so that the palms face in towards you now. Drop the shoulders, find your center. And then you're going to just tuck the chin gently in towards the chest and you're going to round out the upper spine. Good. And then you're going to stack the spine again. So you're coming all the way back up, lifting the head, releasing the hands. We're going to interlace them now behind the body. And we're going to open up through the chest. Good. Again, just trying to find your center here. And maybe start to lift the arms a little bit away from the body, depending on your body and if it likes that or not. Good. Another breath or two here. Brilliant. And then releasing the arms all the way back around. Brilliant. So big circles now with the shoulders. So inhaling to start the circle and then exhaling to finish. Two more like that. Inhale and then exhaling. Inhaling and then exhaling and then back in that opposite direction. So big circles. And you're just connecting the movement with the breath here. So as you start the circle, you inhale, and as you finish, you exhale. Last time. Inhaling and then exhaling. Brilliant. So then coming off the blanket or cushion if you're on one and coming onto all fours. So just put it somewhere where it's easily in reach. Good. So just Bringing the hands now shoulder distance apart. You're really spreading the fingers wide here. The knees are hip distance apart and the toes are just going to flatten down onto the floor, just like that. Good. And we're just going to start by circling the hips. So very sort of slowly, start with small circles. So you're bringing the bum back and down and around. And then as you start to kind of loosen up a little bit here, you can sweep the bum down as far as it'll go. And then changing direction. You can take a little bend into those elbows if you like. And then connecting the movement with the breath. So as you start one circle, inhale, and then as you finish it, exhale. And then maybe moving backwards and forwards. So bringing the hips down towards the heels and then coming all the way back up and coming a little bit, bringing the shoulders a little bit further over the wrist. If it feels okay to do that with the wrist, sometimes you can have sensitive wrists and it doesn't like that. So just you do what feels okay for you. Good. And then coming back to center, we're going to lift the left arm up towards the ceiling here. And then we're going to bring it under, thread the needle, and you're going to rest the head down onto the floor. You may need to grab your cushion or your towel or blanket and rest the head down there like that. We're just holding it here. If you want to reach the right arm away a little bit, you can do that. Another breath or two here. And then walking that right hand back, you press into the right hand and release the left. And then we do the same on the other side. So you're lifting that right arm up towards the ceiling and it comes all the way under. And maybe walking the left fingertips away. Good. Walking those left fingertips back, pressing into the floor and coming all the way back up onto all fours. So from here, we're going to take the left leg and bring it out to the side. So the toes are pointing forward. I'm going to shift a little bit here. That's it. And the hands are shoulder distance apart. So the upper part of the body is like when you're going into a downward facing dog. And what we're going to do is just move the hips back towards the heels a little bit, or back behind us. But then now try and think about the upper part of the body being an upward facing dog. So you bring the head down. So it feels a little bit awkward, but it's a nice big stretch for the outside of that left leg. So into those IT bands, which can get very tight. Good, another breath or two here. And then coming all the way back up, you take that left leg in, and we're going to do the same on the other side. I'm just going to move to the other end of the mat. So that right leg comes out, toes pointing forward, hands are shoulder distance apart. You spread the finger really wide, and then you move the bum back and let the head come down. Lovely, another breath or two here. And then coming all the way back take that right knee in, and we're going to curl the toes under and come up into downward facing dog. So curl the toes under, knees hip distance apart, hands shoulder distance apart, really spreading the fingers, pressing down into the palms of the hands, draw the lower belly in, press up and back. And maybe walking the dog a little bit here, so one heel comes down and the other heel comes down. Connecting that movement to the breath. So as you inhale, one heel, and then as you exhale, the other. The head is free, it's nodding yes or no with the head a couple of times. Shoulder blades moving down the back. And then coming right up onto the tippy toes, pushing the floor away with your hands, and then lowering the heels down towards the floor. And just staying here for a couple of breaths. If you need to come out of this and come into a child's pose, then go ahead and do that, and join us again when you're ready. Good. One more breath here. And the knees are going to come back down onto the floor, toes together, knees to the edge of the mat, and you're going to sit the bum back towards the heels. So from here, you can bring the elbows down onto the floor and sort of just sit into it like this. The bum may not be back towards the heels, and that's totally fine as well. Sometimes what you can do is grab your cushion or your blanket and sit down on it like that. Have a play around with that and see how that feels. If you want, you can extend the arms all the way out in front and let the head come down onto the mat. And just focusing on the breath now as you're down here. And allowing the breath to fill the side ribs and the back ribs. And then as you exhale, just see if you can release a little bit more with those hips. Good. One more breath here. And slowly walking the hands back towards the knees and bring the knees in. So the thighs are touching, the feet are flat on the floor. We're just going to bring the hands down onto the thighs, drop the shoulders down and lift up through the crown of the head, maybe closing the eyes here. Again, just connecting a little bit with the breath. Good, and then opening the eyes. We're going to come into Crescent Lunge on the right side. So we're going to walk those hands forward, take the right leg forward, put the knee and the ankle in line with each other on that right leg. Curl the toes under of that left foot and bring the knee back just a little bit here. Good. And then we're going to press the floor away and come all the way up. So you're really firing up on this right side. And then we're going to lift the fingertips up towards the ceiling. You can drop the hips down here, but again, just make sure that you're pushing the floor away with this front foot. This leg kind of stays active. Draw the low belly in. We're not hugely opening the chest here or do any kind of back extension in this. We're keeping it fairly neutral. And again, you can bring the arms into like a goalpost shape with the elbows in line with the shoulders if it feels like it's too much to have the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Just going to hold it here for a little while. So really allow that left side to open up. Good. One more breath here. And then we're going to bring the hands down to the floor, either side of the foot. Walk the foot back towards the body a couple of inches, like not very far. We're going to straighten up this front leg. We're going to walk the hands back. And then you're going to see about bringing those right toes up towards the ceiling. Good. Try and relax the shoulders. And we're just going to hold it here for a few breaths. And then kind of seeing with each exhale, can you release a little bit more down towards that right knee? If you wanted here, the option to grab a couple of books and put them underneath your hands, if it's kind of not possible for you to get the hands down onto the floor. You can always come up. It's kind of harder on the balance, I think, to do that. Draw that right kneecap up. We're going to stay here a little bit longer. Really get the benefit of the stretch into the back of the legs. Try and stay with me if you can. Of course, if you need to bend at any time this right knee, please go ahead and do that. I'm not there with you in the room, so it's totally fine. Good, last breath here. Brilliant. And then walking those hands forward, bringing that foot back onto the floor. We're going to come back into that crescent lunge, but we're not going to lift up. Shoulders away from the ears. See if you can kind of smile the chest open, like smile those collarbones open. Good. And then planting the left hand down onto the mat. I want you to walk the right foot out to the edge of the mat a little bit and bring the right hand in to the inside of that right foot. Shoulders away from the ears. Good. And then we're just going to open up with that right arm. So you're just going to lift those right fingertips up towards the ceiling. If you want to now, you can curl the toes under of that left foot and lift the back knee, but no pressure to do that. You can stay with the knee down on the floor. Good. Keep pressing out through that left heel if that left knee is lifted up from the floor. So try and get the length into the left leg if it's lifted. One more breath here. Good. And then that right hand is going to come down. That left knee is going to come down. You can walk the right foot in a little here and then just whoosh it back. Good. And then from here, you're going to come back into your down dog. So hands shoulder distance apart. Lift the low belly in, knees hip distance apart, and then lifting, bringing those hips back. Good. I'm trying to straighten the legs here now if possible. You're pressing out through the thigh bones at the back. Shoulder blades moving down the back, really pressing the palms of the hands into the floor. The head nod as yes and no a couple of times. Good, one more breath here. Well done, everybody. And then the knees come down, and then we're going to move on to that left side. So you're taking that left foot up. Knee and ankle in line with each other here. Curl the toes under of that right foot and bring that right knee back. Press the floor away. Lift the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Drop the shoulder blades down. Good. So we're just holding it here for another couple of breaths just to open up that right side. So depending on whether you're left-handed or right-handed, you'll usually find the dominant side is a little bit tighter. Keep pressing the floor away with that left leg. Good, one more breath here. Brilliant, and then the hands come down, we sweep them down onto the floor. Maybe walk that left foot back a couple of inches, and then slowly moving back to straighten the left leg. Left toes up towards the ceiling. Again, doing whatever you need to do. If you need to grab your blankets and put them under your hands. We'll be here for a little while, so. Good. And then before we move down towards that left knee, I want you just to have a look at the left leg and to see that you're not pressing down so much into the back of the left knee, so that you're kind of hyperextending through the left leg. So you want to draw the kneecap up on that left leg so that the muscles are really active. And it might mean, just to get used to that, if you can't kind of figure it out, that you bring a tiny micro bend into that, a micro bend, teeny tiny, into that left leg. And that will help engage the muscles on the front of the leg while you stretch the ones on the back. So connecting now to the breath again, just inhaling and then exhaling. See if you can release down a little bit more. Good. One more breath here. Well done, everybody. And then we start to walk the hands forward. And we're going to come into that kind of low crescent lunge on the left side. So opening up through the chest, drawing the shoulders down. Good. And then that left hand comes to the inside of that left foot, and the left foot, you walk it out towards the edge of the mat. Good. And we're just holding it here. Brilliant. And then you're going to open up with that left arm, reaching it up towards the ceiling. And then if you want to, you're curling the toes under of that right foot and lifting that right knee up off the floor. Good. Hold it here for another breath. And then the hand comes down, the knee comes down, we walk that foot in. And we bring it back, and we're just going to come straight up into down dog. So your hands are shoulder distance apart, knees are hip distance apart, lifting the hips up and back. Not the head, yes and no. Good, and then we're going to walk the hands towards the feet and the feet towards the hands. Good, until the feet are, make sure the feet are hip distance apart. And we're just going to bend into those knees and let the body hang over. Let the head go, the arms are free. Just resting the upper body onto the thighs if you can.
And then slowly, slowly, just pressing the floor away. Keep the head hanging and the arms hanging. We're just going to roll up through the spine. Good. And the head, the neck, and the shoulders just kind of slotting into place. Lovely. Good. Okay. So from here, we're going to take the feet nice and wide on the mat. Brilliant. The toes are pointing forward. Kind of watching here before we kind of come into any forward bend or fold, that the toes aren't facing out, that they're even maybe a tiny bit pigeoned in, but just have a little play with that. Lift up through the inner arches of the feet. So you're pressing the baby toe side of your feet right down into the mat, and you'll feel your legs engage as you do that. Draw the low belly in, take the hands to the hips to start. Open the chest, draw the elbows back. And then we're just going to fold forward here, keeping the spine nice and long. Good. And then releasing the hands down to the floor. Again, you might want your blanket or your cushion for underneath your hands here. Draw the shoulders back. And keep the upper body long. Good. And then we're going to see about walking the hands out a little bit here. And then dropping the head down like we're in a kind of an extended dog's pose with the legs really far apart. So just have a play, see what feels good. See if maybe you can let the head come down, and then just avoid sort of, because this will happen to everybody, including myself, that the hips will want to come forward. See if you can kind of encourage them back. Draw the kneecaps up on the legs so you're not pressing too hard into the back of the knee. Good. And then walking the hands back underneath the shoulders. Bring the left hand into center. So you can plant the hand down, you can come up onto the fingertips here. And we're just going to open up with that right arm. Good. Bring the right arm down. You're going to swap it out for that left arm. Good. And we're going to do that again. Left hand comes down. Right arm lifts up. Right arm comes down. Left hand comes up. Let's do that once more. Opening that right side. And then that left side. Good. Bring both hands down onto the floor. And stay where you are here with the hands underneath the shoulders if that feels okay. Or you're going to start to walk the hands back so that they come underneath the shoulders. You let the head go. The elbows are pointing back. Just a breath or two here. And then walk the hands back under the shoulders. Come right up onto the fingertips. Heel toe the feet in a couple of times. And then take the hands to the hips. Draw the low belly in and really press the floor away with the legs, with the feet, so the legs kind of fire up and we come all the way back up to standing. Phew. And then just take a breath here. So just heel toe those feet in. Good, so that they're hip distance apart here. Brilliant. Okay, so from here, just taking the hands to the heart, drop the shoulders down. You can close your eyes here if you like. Lift up through the crown of the head. Draw the low belly in. connecting back with the breath. Good. And then releasing the hands down. So we're going to take a big bend into the knees. We're going to go into Utkatasana. So you're going to bend the knees, bend the knees, bend the knees. Feet are hip distance apart. And then you're going to lift the arms up to shoulder height. And you're going to see about sitting that bum down a bit lower. Good. So we're not like this. We're sitting, we're sitting, we're sitting. Good. And reaching forward with those arms. So you're really firing the legs up here. Draw the low belly in. Let's take 3 more breaths here. I know the legs will be given out. Good. 2 more breaths. Big inhale. And then exhale. Shift the weight back to the heels. 1 more breath. And then release the arms. And then come all the way back up to standing. Good. And then from here, bring the legs out wide. We're going to turn the right toes out. So the right toes face the top of the mat. The heel and the heel to heel are in line, if you get me, and then or heel to instep here. So the heel of the front foot to the arch of the back foot. And then we're going to bend into that front leg. Good. And lift the arms up to shoulder height. So you're warrior 2. Drop the shoulders down. Good. And then from here, you're just going to straighten the leg. Good. And bring that right hand down for Srikanasana. So you're opening up through the ribs, especially those left ribs. So trying to roll the left ribs back. Lift the kneecap on that right leg. So not allowing the weight just to kind of push into the back of the knee. Good. Another breath or 2 here. The right hand can be quite low, down towards the ankle, or can be all the way up at the thigh. It doesn't have to go low at all. 1 more breath. And we're just going to reverse the triangle. So you press the floor away with that right foot. Turn the palm up towards the ceiling. And then just opening up through that right side. Left hand just kind of sliding down the back leg a little. Good. And then coming all the way back into your warrior. Brilliant. Looking out over those front fingertips. And then drop the hands. Straighten the leg. Turn the toes. And turn the toes to the other side. So those left toes pointing forward. Bending into that front knee. Knee and the ankle of the front leg in line with each other. Lift the arms. Drop the shoulder blades down. Looking out over those front fingertips. Good. And then straightening that front leg. Reaching out over the front toes. And bringing that hand down to the shin or the thigh or the knee. But not pressing into the back of the knee too much. Opening up through that right side. Those right ribs rolling back. Good. 1 more breath here. And then pressing the floor away with the front foot. And reversing that triangle, so the palm facing back. Good, coming all the way into your warrior 2. Straightening that front leg, turning the toes, and then just heel toe those feet in a little here. Good. So we're going to come into a squat now. I'll face forward so you can see what I'm doing. Everybody's hips are different, so everybody's Manasana is going to look different. So you're bringing the feet a little bit wider than hip distance, and then just turn the toes out a little bit. You'll only know once you get down kind of which is the correct position for the feet. So we're going to sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, if you can, and do your little adjustments here. Now, for a lot of people, the flexibility on the ankles is just not there. So you might end up with your heels lifted from the floor, and that's fine for now. But a nice thing to do is to grab your cushion or your blanket, roll it up, and stick it under the heels. You can even roll up your mat if you don't have a blanket that's going to roll under the feet, and sit down on it just like that. Good. If it's not the ankles, so if it's maybe the hips, what you can do is actually even pile up some stuff and sit on it. And if all of that is just a big no, you can sit onto your cushion or blanket and just bring the legs out like that. Okay. Everybody else is screaming at me now because I've been in this position for ages, but we just hold it for another minute or two. Lift up through the crown of the head. Drop the shoulder blades down the back. Press the elbows or the arms into the legs, but then press the legs back into the arms also. Good. You can close your eyes. Another breath or two here. And then just releasing the hands, find the floor with your bum and extend. Just holding onto the back of the leg, just roll down onto the floor. Good. So we're going to come up into bridge now from this position. So you're going to draw the heels back in towards the bum. Good. Okay. Lightly grazing the fingertips to the top of the heels if you can, but don't worry if your legs aren't getting there, that's all right. What I really want you to make sure is that the knees are hip distance apart. So hip distance is a fist or two fists, so depending on your hips. So just have a little look. Fist or two fists is totally fine. And the feet are the same, so the toes are pointing forward. Press the palms of the hands down onto the mat. That's it. There's nothing under your head now, so there's no blanket or cushion there. And then just rolling the chin maybe to the right side first, and then all the way back and over to the left side. Brilliant. And then coming back into center, and then we're just going to draw the low belly in. We're going to press the floor away with the feet, and we're going to lift the hips so that the knees, the hips, and the ribs and the shoulders are in all one straight line. Good. Again, really firing up the glute muscles, so your bum is really working hard here, and that's really supporting the pelvis and the low back. Keep pressing the feet into the floor, and then just check in again with the knees and make sure they haven't kind of floated out. There should be no stress or tension in the neck here. Good. Keep that low belly drawn in, so like we did at the start of the class with the breath is kind of filling the front and the side ribs while the belly doesn't move that much. Let's take another 2 breaths here. Good, and then we're going to roll back down through each little vertebrae, one by one, until we come back to that starting position, that neutral position with the pelvis. So just take a breath here, maybe bring the knees together, the feet to the edge of the mat. Let the knees press off each other, and now that low back just to relax into the mat. We're going to do the same thing now again. So just getting those feet back into position. So you can stay with that first version of the bridge that we've just done there, or we can go a little bit further If you don't have any niggles in the low back and you feel like you want to go a little bit further, we're warm enough now. We've done a lot of work with the legs, so it's always nice to work into a back extension after the legs have been warmed up. So we're going to lift the hips up again. So you're either staying here in this first position, or you can roll one shoulder under and then the other shoulder, and you're interlacing the fingers. And imagine you're trying to get those interlaced hands down towards the end of the mat. And you're going to lift the hips up. Keep the neck nice and long. So allow the chest to drop down towards the chin and not the other way around. So your gaze is right up towards the ceiling. Those knees are hip distance apart. Another breath or two here. Good. And then releasing the hands, release the shoulders. And then slowly, slowly rolling all the way back down. Good, well done. And then just again, bringing the knees together, the feet to the edge of the mat. Allow the low back to completely relax. Good. And then bring the feet back into center, and we're just going to let the knees drop out to the right side. Bring the hands, the arms in line with the shoulders, or a little bit lower than that. And you can look over that left side if it feels okay. Don't worry about it. If you want to, you can extend the stretch a little bit here by placing the right foot on top of that left knee. But no pressure to do that. Good. Another breath or two here. Brilliant. And then just taking the foot down if it's on top of the knee, and then bring the knees back to center, head back to center. Just recenter everything. And then let those knees drop down to the left side. Looking over those right fingertips. Maybe that right foot comes on top of the right knee, left knee even. Actually, that's completely wrong. The left ankle onto the right leg. Good. Another breath or two here. And then releasing the foot, allowing the knees to come back to center. Good. And then drawing the hands down. Brilliant. And then from here, just take the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to drop out to the side, if that feels okay to do that. Make sure the shoulders are relaxed. Now, if you want to, if you feel like the chest is kind of tight here and you feel like it's kind of lifting you up off the mat a little bit, grab your cushion or your blanket and just put it under your head. Just nice soft breaths into the belly. Brilliant. So just taking the hands out to the outside of the thighs, just bring the knees together. And we're just going to get ready now for Shavasana. So if you want to grab your cushions or towels and either leave them under your head, or I like to just put them under my knees like that. You put your socks on, get another little blanket and put it over yourself just to get cozy. So just take the first couple of minutes just to get settled. So really just taking your time now to make sure you're really comfortable. Good. Turn the palms of the hands up towards the ceiling. So that a little bit of space as well between the body and the arms. Allow the feet to roll out. And we're just going to focus on the breath here a little bit to start off. So I really want you to fill the belly as you breathe in. So big inhale, fill the belly. And then exhaling through the mouth. Just releasing everything down. And again, inhale, fill the belly. And then exhaling through the mouth. Once more, inhale through the nose, fill the belly. And then exhaling through the mouth. And just going back to your own natural breath. Start now just to relax through the jaw. Maybe opening the mouth just a little, allow the tongue to float to the roof of the mouth. Cheeks are soft. That little bit between the eyebrows is soft. Imagine the eyebrows just sliding down the side of the face. Forehead is soft. Feeling all the points of the body that are touching the floor. Allow those just to get heavy. Allow the front body to melt into the back body. And then allow the back body to completely melt away. And allow the front part of your brain, the thinking and the planning part, just to melt back. slowly now, just beginning to bring your awareness back into the room. And back to your body. Back to your breath. Start to bring a little bit of movement into the fingers and into the toes. And then maybe just stretching the toes away. Maybe reaching the arms behind. Big body stretch. See about maybe keeping the eyes closed. Drawing one knee in at a time over the belly. And rolling from side to side on that low back. And then when you're ready, rolling onto the right side with your hands just supporting your head. So just staying here for the last couple of moments and just taking them for yourself. Then when you're ready in your own time, you'll make your way back to a seated position on your cushion or on your mat. Maybe flicker the eyes open a small bit if you need to, but really slowly, no rush. And just dropping the hands down onto the thighs, lift up through the crown of the head. You close your eyes again there for another moment. Hopefully feeling centered. Good. Then flicking open the eyes. Lovely. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to practice today. Maybe bring the hands close to your heart if you wish. A little bit forward. Namaste to you. Thanks so much. Happy Saturday.